Okay, let's get this thing done. Our
Now
mic is
arriving
on.
at
That's an
Ilios,
improvement from last time.
ready for battle.
Got Ilios, a good map that will test your ability to just track your counterpart, right? Your counterpart is likely the McCree because you don't really want to deal with the Widow. So maybe you won't even end up fighting her. Nope, just kidding. If you're gonna go Widow on Widow, that's fine. I anticipate the classic
5,
Widow spots
4,
here.
3,
This is
2,
a good progressive
1.
angle. This is
Round
one
1.
shot
Capture
go off of
the
it.
objective.
So let's see what you do here. Fuck are you? Oh, this is the clip from yesterday. This was great. It doesn't matter. That's so nice. Great job. Now you can't die here because you've gotten all the... Clip it! This is your moment where you could be moving up. I don't really want to stop it because I don't want to spend too much time. You could be moving up to here. You could be moving up to the low ground. You can take a more aggressive angle and know to get back. But this Widow, check this out. She just got a grapple kill on you and just clipped it too. She knows where you've been sitting this whole game. It's not a surprising location, right? You're just gonna sit up there. She gets the opportunity to rotate and move. Oh, look, the Widow's back in that same spot. Oh my god, she's Bethega. In 6 seconds, she's gonna go for another grapple shot. Meanwhile, you haven't moved at all, right? Like, you can't help your team in this situation. But with a more progressive angle, an angle that this Widow isn't expecting, you'll be able to do something interesting or cool. And the grapple... Teabags. And it looks like, what the fuck from your perspective, right? You just like came out of nowhere and then you're dead. But she knew exactly the spot you were gonna sit because you got lazy and didn't want to move. And I know this is your best spot on Widowmaker, and that's fine. But we have to move around and not be the same thing every time. Otherwise we're gonna get adapted to. And this Widowmaker has adapted to your playstyle faster than you and you let it happen. Quickly.
I'm on fire.
And we see you going to the same well. Peeking the other side is better. A lot better.
I'm on fire.
Gonna see you do some shooting. I love you moving up here. And now you can go back to the other spot if you really want to. Look, you've adapted to where this Widowmaker had played. This Widow played here earlier in the first 30 seconds. She dropped off trying to take the duel, and you now get the drop on her for the most part. Don't feel like you have to re-peek this twice. Even body shotting that and her knowing that you're here. What if you just don't peek it again, right? She has to go, oh man, is that Widow gonna peek me? Is that Widow gonna peek me? I don't know. And you can play that game of, will I? Oh, will I? Oh, your guard is down. There's my free headshot. Your team has put a Sombra on your team. It's not your fault that your team composition is... Don't peek that again. Don't peek that again. You have half HP. All she has to do is tap you a little bit. You got your Mercy killed right there. Great shot, but it was your fault that your Mercy died. You can rotate away from that spot. Your Mercy can come heal you. And you can be a threat to their team. Because Widow 1v1s can be like... the 1v1s, right? They can be dual. Winner... free. Right? If you take a 1v1... the winner of the duel gets free shots, positioning, anything they want. This is OP. If you bait this Widow into thinking you're in a 1v1 situation, it's actually, well, it's actually a 6v5. Ugh. because she's expecting this duel. She's trying to win it, unsure of if you're going to actually play the duel with her. But if you do this, you skip all of these steps and just go to free. You free fire on their team, find a pick, and because you've picked it, now it's a 6v4. Before the Widowmaker can even realize that she needs to be playing with her team, free shooting either on you guys or finding you so that you stop free shooting. You kind of catch what I mean? So both of these are great play styles, right? We can do the 1v1 situation. This is what Widows are known for. But this is a risky play because if we don't win this duel, we have to come back and reposition. We have no idea where their Widowmaker is going to be. And for the 20 seconds that it takes us to get in a spot that we can even contest the Widowmaker, she's having free reign over the map. She can position on the high ground. She can position on this high ground. She can position over there. She could even be on this drum, right? All things that you can't control because you're dead, which is one of the reasons that a duel like that is so risky.
All systems checked out. I'm back in the fight.
One shot, get off. One shot, get off. Actually, since you didn't see anybody up here, I would be scared. Oh man. Nice shot. That's what I was scared of, though. That Widow missed 2 shots on you, right? Like, she had you dead to rights. Great shot. And she missed. So I would have grappled up there, looked for where the Widow was going to be, and if I couldn't find her, if she didn't take a shot at me, I would have dropped off that high ground and played way safer, right? On Widowmaker, it is so important to just survive. It's like Sombra, right? If the enemy team thinks that you have Sombra, and she's in your backline, and she's going to one-clip your Zenyatta, they play a little bit differently. But if their team sees that your Sombra is in their front line or just translocated out, it's a threat they don't have to think about. Right, and this level of thought, we say that Widowmaker is a mechanics hero. She requires a lot more than just mechanics, but it's everything setting up to use your mechanics. And your mechanics are good. It's the positioning, it's the game sense, it's the one step ahead of your opponent that is missing in your gameplay right now. Every time you get caught out and you go, wow, I just got one shot by that Widow, where was she? That's you not realizing where she's positioning. This is fine. Remember your natural cover. You're positioning around your natural cover now, especially since you don't have a real good shield tank. This is good. I'm very scared of that hog hook. We never got to a second level of threat, right? Like, all we did that life was shoot at Orisa and her shields. And we almost killed the Orisa, but nobody else was there. We never realized that there was a Kree getting close, or that Hog was looking to use his hook. Those are things we can look for, and increase our effectiveness. I would love to see you rotate all the way to the right, even without your team. Your team's going to play pretty split anyway. Your monkey jumped off the map, so that's unlucky. You're almost to a visor. If you break this Orisa shield, I'd love to see you pop it. Why not pressure that Kree? What's fucking happening here? You got 5 orb. In this position, right? You can see 2 targets. You can see the target that can deal the most damage to you. If you shoot at this thing, you pressure the Kree away. You get ult charge. You have the opportunity to kill this. If you shoot at this shield, you pressure a shield, which is a cooldown, which is going to come up in the next 8 seconds, undoubtedly. There's no ult charge to be gained. She's getting double pocketed, even though they might heal this McCree. double-pocketed Orisa isn't going to die, especially when she has Fortify up. Yet we continue to shoot the blob that won't die, instead of pressuring something that is making our life harder, is creating value all by himself. I mean, for fuck's sake, he killed you last life, right? So we have to open our eyes to beyond what's in the middle of our screen and look out. Right? Where's their Widow? I haven't seen their Widow at all. And I know it's easy to be like, well, if I pause this frame, there's clearly a better target. I mean, just watch how long this McCree, because first fight, he was sitting over here. This fight, he's still sitting over here, and we haven't responded to this at all.
Good choice.
Right? Like, we're asking our Tracer to duel a McCree. And I think you're doing somewhat of the right things. It's difficult because being soldier in this composition that doesn't really shield break. I mean, you were on Diva earlier. Your monkey just jumped off the map. This is kind of a lost already, despite how it looks pretty even. I just struggle with this Orisa shield shooting. When you could be looking for other areas, like what if you rotated up to this high ground and played up here for a little bit, right? We still get to pressure this shield. The only way the Kree can come at us is this short angle or this short angle. We get to pressure this thing. We have high ground, which is great cover, right? So like, I don't want to say this is lazy positioning because it's not lazy that you go down main. That's where your team is, right? And maybe we can convince somebody to go on the flank with us and our Tracer isn't getting the most value. But look at what their Widow wants to shoot. She wants to shoot anything that goes on this flank. I mean, quite frankly, you could even be going up to this high ground, right? There's no value in it. You'll drop here and then you'll come around here. You're opening yourself up to too many opponents when you want value, right? And value can be as simple as hitting this guy twice, so he feels like he has to go get the mini. Value is not shooting this Orisa shield because it's on a cooldown that will come back up in 19 seconds. 6 seconds, right? I don't know why. 19.
No rest for the weary.
You should be at peak performance levels.
Yep, you were going to lose that duel as soon as you walked up that hallway. I liked that you went for something different, but you didn't have a team with you. Right now your team is staggering out, and you're the caboose that's in the back. You can just push past that shield, man. You don't have to shoot that thing. Right? Especially with the monkey bubble. It's the gold thing. That's a good Felix, though. Gold thing of using all of your abilities and, like, ultimates. We died without using Visor. I didn't see the perfect spot. But I hope you're not looking for the perfect spot. I think you can Visor anything if the shield is down. That's one of the reasons I said, like, if we push past this Orisa shield. Yeah. Good shots. I want you to remember that you're not farming any of your ult, and you're actually giving away ult charge because you have your ult already. So the healers are getting, their healers are getting their ults faster. we're sitting too close, and you've realized it now.
My ultimate is ready.
Right, and that's the difference. We were just a little bit slow on realizing that we wanted a longer line of sight, especially with their DPS right now. Now we're gonna toss visor on point just because we have to. I wonder if there's a way that you could commit a little bit less of your health and energy onto point, waiting for that Zenyatta trans, like if you dropped heal pad and then just soldier danced instead of trying to shoot and kill. Because you have to realize that your team is coming and basically play to know that they'll be there eventually. It wasn't that you weren't getting value, which is frustrating. That's why we VOD review things. It's that slightly, so very slightly, some other things were getting more value than you. I like the switch to an Ashe, especially since this Mercy has been playing Mercy the whole time. Knowing what I know through spectator and replay, it could be difficult with double shield, but Ashe's damage is enough to carry through the whole game. I'd like to know what your damage numbers are at, how many deaths you have, because I'm noticing you die just slightly too much, right? You talk about Ruins. Like, I think Ruins was your worst played map. I think your team composition was bad for well, but like, this is all good. This is all really good, right? We're not strafing when we get free shots, right? Because there's nothing on their team that can contest us. So as soon as they're in our LOS, we can just stand and shoot. It's point and click time. You're using your dynamite pretty effectively. We're building Bob fast, right? And you recognize that you can kind of point and click. It's hard, it's scary, but especially with a Mercy pocket, don't be afraid to take 1 or 2 shots and then you feel the fire under your butt. Critically, we haven't found any picks. He didn't hit any shots there. Hi, Kevin. We're VOD reviewing Spencer here. And it's time to get out. If you die now, you're tossing. On cue. On cue. Okay. Right. Like, when the point flips, when your team is dead, that's a poorly timed death, right? And if we only have 3 of those a match, they're still super costly, right? Imagine if your Reinhardt just charged in to start 1 fight for each point of control. That's a pointless death that makes your whole team have to wait. And if they don't wait, they're going to be massively disadvantaged because you're the source of damage in this composition. I need you to be aware of your situation there, man. Crew's sitting on your butt. You heard him fan the hammer, you're Ana. Like I said earlier, you have to beat your opposition. And your opposition could be Symmetra, but really it's not, because these two are only going to deal damage over a long sustained amount of time, right? It's the battle between the Ashe and the Kree there. And that's a really good pick for your team. Great dynamite, that's a 4-piece. Bob on point is a little ambitious, just because your team isn't ready to go yet. And I know what you're trying to do, but like, imagine if we Bob right now on reaction to grab. Right, I mean, it opened the door. Just kidding, I like the Bob, right? It was like 3 seconds faster than the rest of your team, because if Bob's rushing in at the same time the monkey jumps in, this is really good. Now, what I want to see right now is your understanding this McCree has been a problem and taking the same route, because there's only one way to get to high ground, 3 times in a row. He's on the move right now, and that's exactly what you do. This is a little aggressive. Oh, no. You took your eye off the ball. Oh, God. Right, and what if you coach gun to this high ground? Right? The McCree cannot get you up here. This is a safe space, and the rest of their team can do literally nothing. I don't think I would have rotated, but I would have realized that. Oh, okay, and this looks like the end of the match. Yep. Yeah. Yep. Some poorly timed deaths. I want you to think back to like ruins, the widow 1v1, and the resource of focus. Right. If the widow is focused on you, she's not focused on your team. Right. So like if we take one shot at the widow, and then she's like, "Oh shit, I can win this 1v1," and then you just ignore her, she has to either hold that angle, or she'll get impatient. I want to show you an example of somebody getting impatient. And just like that, right? You got impatient, you wanted to throw one dynamite, and you died for it. Right? Like, alternatively, right, you don't have to hold this angle if you just want to rotate to your team, right? If you want to play on point, if you want to give up the high ground for the McCree, you understood that he was rotating to get you because he did it twice. All we had to do was just get out. It's unlucky. I'll consider looking at your, God. Reinhardt, are you okay? Oh, you can see his head? Oh no, it's an icicle. Oh man. Bendy pole. Anyway, I'll consider doing your other VOD if you really want me to. I know this one was shorter. I wanted it to be a little bit shorter. Yeah, message me with any questions you have or things that were unclear. You have to think about timing your deaths, and not being so predictable, right? No. You can I'll let you be predictable as long as you're one step ahead of your opponent, right? It's not being unpredictable and like, I'm going to be so sneaky and sit right here this time. Haha. It's like, well, the Kree's going to come get me, so I'm just going to rotate to this here. Or maybe this here, right? Or understand that when he goes on that flank, it's 5v6 and it's time to win the fight fast. When the Widow is going to repeak your same angle, you hold that angle, you know? Simple stuff like that.